I don't know about you, but I spend most of my free time making things. Nothing beats that feeling when you finish a project and sit back and see something that didn't exist before you put your hands to it. My name is Emmy, and I've been making things for as long as I can remember. It started out with me making stuffed animals for myself when I was a kid, and then eventually led to me making matching prom dresses for my best friend and I. I've always been the most excited about getting to learn about new kinds of art forms and then getting to practice those techniques. I decided to go to school for fashion construction and design because clothing construction has so many different facets that it's super difficult to ever get bored. After I finished both of my AAs, I decided to pivot to costume design because I didn't really feel like the fashion industry worked really well with my creative style. I wanted to make clothes for people that I actually knew and get to see them in action rather than just sort of marketing to the masses. I was able to attend Queen Margaret's University in Edinburgh, where I graduated with my bachelor's in costume design for stage and film before the pandemic began. Since I returned home to the Bay Area, I've been trying to find the best way to apply my skills in a way that I find satisfying. I know how to design, sew, crochet, knit, make patterns, I can spin yarn, I can make lace, I know how to write, I can do 3D design as well as different kinds of digital art as well. It's always kind of felt like I've had so many interests that I've never really had enough time to become really good at any particular one of them. During lockdown, I decided to challenge myself to get good at only skills I already had. And that lasted for as long as it took me to decide that I wanted to learn piano. This time, I'm challenging myself to do stuff that I've never done before so that I can learn new things but also find ways to incorporate old talents. For this channel, I'll be designing and completing projects where I'll be showing you how I applied my ideas, where I messed up, and how I overcame those mistakes. I'm so glad to have you here. This is Crafter of Many Kinds. When I was a teen, I was really into the anime scene, and specifically fascinated by Gothic Lolita fashion. Loli, as it's shortened to, is originally a Japanese street style defined by embracing an aesthetic of childlike innocence. The style was originally intended for girls who wanted to wear excessively fancy dresses and buck the expectation that growing up meant that you needed to be sexy. The designs tend to incorporate lots of lace with puffy skirts and feature adorable, beautiful, innocent, or sometimes creepy looks. You might notice that for a lot of loli fashion, the subjects do tend to embrace looking a bit like little girls, which can be off-putting or confusing to some people. I personally like to think of it as childhood wish fulfillment. It's a bit like finally getting one of those frilly dresses you might have wanted as a kid, but your parents told you that it was too expensive, or that you were just going to spill spaghetti onto it, or that you were just going to grow out of it in a couple months anyway, so there wasn't any point. Back in the early 2000s when I was obsessed with loli fashion, the only real exposure that I had was through Japanese fashion magazines or anime conventions. I remember when I was 19 that a loli store opened in San Francisco called Alice and the Pirates. I was so excited and I saved up all my money because I thought I was finally going to get my dream frilly dress for the first time. But when we arrived, I remember being shocked because all of the dresses were between $300 to $500. And what was worse was realizing that they didn't cater to even remotely curvy bodies. The lowest moment for me was when I decided to just try to make the best of it and to get some accessories. I tried to buy some frilly socks, and they didn't even have ones that would fit my calves in the store. And I remember being in the elevator on the way out of the store and actually crying because it was so humiliating. I finally realized that loli was just a fashion that only skinny rich girls could participate in, and I was definitely neither of those things. After that, I just decided to move on from loli fashion because it was, at that time, not really an inclusive space. So when I was thinking about what my next project should be, I suddenly realized, wait, I'm an accomplished pattern maker, and I have big girl money now. There's no reason not to make teenage Emmy's dreams come true. Which is why for my first Crafter of Many Kinds project, I have designed my first Loli outfit. Now, the world of Loli fashion has moved on a bit since I was a teenager, and there are companies that do plus size now, but I feel like I owe it to myself to make my old dreams come true. Between Labor Day and December 1st, I ascend to a higher plane of existence which I call the Spice Ethereum. It's a place where I consume as many pumpkin spice themed items that I possibly can so that I can tide myself over to the next year like a weird pumpkin spice hibernating bear. So I thought, why not make an unholy mashup between two things that I absolutely love and create the pumpkin spice Loli. My pumpkin spice Loli outfit will feature a sailor style blouse with a circle skirt made from custom printed fabric. The color scheme for this design is going to be fall leaf colors like yellow, hands, browns, reds, and orange. I'll be hand making this outfit from scratch for a costume party that my friend is hosting in 6 weeks. The sailor blouse will have see-through pumpkin sleeves, which I'll be embroidering leaves onto. I want the fabric for the blouse to have a sort of foamy, creamy, coffee-like feel to it, so I'll be layering a sheer fabric over a solid. For the skirt, I'll be adding some lacing points to the waistband so that it'll still fit me even if I fluctuate a little bit in size. It'll also have pockets because, well, all the best skirts these days have them. To give the skirt the kind of volume that defines the Loli silhouette, I'll be putting a crinoline petticoat underneath. I'm hoping that I can just buy one, but because I'm only 4'9", it's likely that even if I do, I will probably have to adjust it so it doesn't hang all the way down to my shins. Lastly, I'll be making a white felt beret, which I hope inspires the idea of whipped cream on the top of a hot beverage. If I'm able to accomplish all of that within my set time frame, I'll try for some of these stretch goals. I might try styling the wig into a cute ponytail with some little bows and cinnamon sticks, or I could add more embroidery to the sailor collar and the beret. If I have a lot of time, I'll attempt to make a coffee cup shaped purse so I'll have a fun prop to use for the party. Lastly, because I don't want to commit to buying a pair of shoes specifically for this costume, I might see if I can just decorate over a pair of shoes that I already own. So with that design in mind, I'm looking forward to making something that suits not only my tastes, but my body type as well. But the first stop of any crafting journey is Joann's. It's a treasure trove of novelty fabrics, ribbons, and specialty crafting supplies. It's filled with all kinds of things that you could buy with the best of intentions that will just end up sitting in a drawer, guiltily reminding you of the time when you thought you'd open an Etsy shop and make custom-made mushroom earrings. Anyway, the easiest way to start on my design would be to try to find a pre-made pattern that I could just alter. I'm pretty good at changing patterns because I've had a lot of practice adjusting them to fit me, since most retail patterns rarely account for someone as short and curvy as I am. I found these two Loli patterns which at least had a workable base, but none of the local stores even had them in stock. I decided that neither were really close enough to bother trying to work from, which meant I'm gonna have to make my own pattern. Luckily, I was able to find all of the rest of my standard fabrics at Joann's, including this netting and satin combo, which was perfect for the kind of foamy look that I was going for. The signature part of this design is going to be in the skirt. I found this fabric on spoonflower.com. It appropriately says, "It's pumpkin spice latte season, bitches," which is what I shout every time I go into a Starbucks. They've asked me to stop. 12 fabrics later, I'm ready to take this project on. I think a lot of people only get to see polished final products, or they see those quick videos where people make amazing things, but that doesn't really convey the years of trial and error that crafters tend to do along the way. I know a lot of my learning has happened through seeing something cool, wanting to do it myself, and then sitting around trying to figure out how to put it together, even if that takes a really long time. I want to encourage everyone that just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't just try. Except for surgery. Don't just try surgery because you want to. Even if you fail, you're still going to learn something, even if that's not to boil glue or that Easter egg dye is not actually an appropriate form of clothing dye. If you're interested in watching me try to put together my childhood dream costume, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you on the next episode of Crafter of Many Kinds.